Hello grade 12s and welcome to another life science lesson under responses to the environment. Right now we're going to be dealing with the human eye. Now please note we will be doing structure of the human eye in the second segment, right? Here it's only the questions are focused on functions of the different parts of the human eye as well as some of the visual defects. So the important information that I need you to know is accommodation. Okay, now, forgive me for this. Accommodation, right, is the ability of the lens to alter its shape or convexity to focus on objects when they are either nearby, which is less than 6 meters away, or far, which is more than 6 meters away. Now, when an object is nearby, right, which is less than 6 meters away, the ciliary muscles will contract, the sclera is pulled forward, the suspensory ligaments relax, tension on the lens capsule decreases, the lens becomes thicker or more convex, the refractive power of the lens increases, light rays bend inwards more, and a clear image of the near object is formed on the retina. Okay. Now, I suggest that you know one part, for example, nearby, and then when it's far away, right, which is more than 6 meters away, you only flip some words. So, for example, when the object is distant, which is more than 6 meters away, so first and foremost, the ciliary muscles will relax. Okay, the sclera returns to its normal position, right? The suspensory ligaments contract or tighten. Tension in the lens capsule increases. The lens becomes thinner or less convex. The refractive power of the lens decreases, right? Light rays bend inwards less, and a clear image of the near object is formed on the retina. That's with accommodation with a distant object. Now, the pupillary mechanism or pupil reflex is the mechanism which controls the amount of light entering the eye in different light intensities. Okay, so in high light intensity, the ciliary muscles of the iris contract. That's what I call CC. The radial muscles of the iris relax. That's what I call RR. The pupil constricts or decreases in diameter or becomes smaller, and hence less light enters the eye. Right? Now, when you have low light intensity conditions, the reverse will happen. Okay, you will have CRRC. So, first and foremost, the ciliary muscles will relax. So that's CR. The radial muscles of the iris will contract. That's RC. The pupil dilates or increases in diameter or becomes bigger, hence allowing more light to enter the eye. That's in low light intensities. The visual defects that you are expected to know in detail are myopia, which is short-sightedness, hypermetropia or hyperopia, which is long-sightedness, astigmatism, where the eyeballs have different focal lengths, cataracts, where you have opacity of the lens due to protein denaturation, glaucoma, where you have increased intraocular pressure, and conjunctivitis, which is pink eye. You're not expected to know a lot about conjunctivitis. Now, the visual defects that you're expected, this is from the Via Africa study guide, right? So in myopia, which is nearsightedness or short-sightedness, the eyeball is elongated or too long. The lens bends light rays too much. Light rays focus in front of the retina, so the image is formed in front of the retina, not on it. You cannot see distant objects clearly. And myopia is corrected with concave lens spectacles. Now, no myopia, and when you're asked about hyperopia or hypermetropia or long-sightedness or far-sightedness, right, you should know that the eyeball is flattened or too short. The lens bends light rays not enough, right? So the lens does not bend light rays enough, right? The light rays focus behind the retina. In hypermetropia, you cannot see near objects clearly, right? And hypermetropia or hyperopia is corrected with convex lens spectacles. Alright, I hope that is clear. Please take this down. I modified this from the Mind the Gap study guide. So number 1 states, name the part of the human eye that is responsible for each of the following functions. 1.1, covers and protects the front portion of the eye. Now I know in the laptop it says covers and protects the cornea, right? And this is the conjunctiva. Okay. 1.2, the tough white outer coat which protects the eye against damage. Remember, the white part of the eye is called the sclera. One point three, the dark layer which prevents internal reflection of light. That layer is called the choroid. How does the choroid prevent internal reflection of light? It has the pigment melanin, right? So it is important to note that since people with albinism cannot produce enough melanin, they have a problem with vision. 1.4, the layer which contains photoreceptors. The layer which contains photoreceptors is called the retina. Okay. 1.5, watery fluid that supports the cornea and the front chamber of the eye. Okay, front chamber, it's called the aqueous humor. One 1.6, responsible for the refraction of light rays to create a clear image on the retina. Now, it is important to note that it is the cornea which has the greatest refractive power and not the lens. The lens is important in accommodation. 1.7, the jelly-like substance which gives shape to the eye and is found in the back chamber. Remember, the jelly-like substance is the vitreous humor. Okay. 1.8, the colored part of the eye. Please note that the colored part of the eye is the iris. Just as a side note, my iris is brown. 1.9, the circular gap in the iris which controls the amount of light entering the eye. The gap in the iris is called the pupil. 1.10, alters its shape during accommodation. Remember, I said the part which plays a role in accommodation is the lens. So for near vision, when an object is less than 6 meters away, the lens becomes more convex, right? When an object is distant, which is more than 6 meters away, it becomes less convex. 1.11, hold the lens in position. The lens are held in position by the suspensory ligaments. Okay. 1.12, the area with the greatest number of cones and hence offers the clearest vision. The area with the lack of space. The area with the greatest number of cones is called the yellow spot. Or macular lutea, but yellow spot is sufficient. And it has the central point is called the fovea centralis. It is where the clearest image is formed. 1.18, the area which has no photoreceptors and hence no vision, that is called the blind spot. blind spot is where the nerve fibers of the optic nerve converge. 1.14. The structure which carries nerve impulses from the retina to the brain, that is called the optic nerve. So just as a side note, the optic nerve is the second cranial nerve. Number 2 states, what do we call the adjustment of the shape of the lens to see objects clearly, whether they are nearby or far away? Please note that that is called accommodation. Okay. Number 3 states, what do we call the mechanism which regulates the amount of light by adjusting the size of the pupil in different light intensities? That is called the pupillary mechanism. Pupillary mechanism or pupil reflex. Number 4 states, name the visual defect given in each of the following descriptions. Roman numeral number 1, inability to see far objects clearly. Now please remember that when you can't see far objects clearly, you are myopic, so it's myopia or nearsightedness or short-sightedness. Right? Roman numeral number 2 states, each eyeball has a different focal length due to uneven curvature of either the cornea or the lens, resulting in distorted images. Now please remember when I said that each eyeball has a different focal length, that is called astigmatism. Okay. Roman numeral number 3 states the lens becomes cloudy and opaque to light due to protein denaturation in the front chamber of the eye. Now when the lens becomes cloudy and opaque to light, that is called cataract. And how this happens is that tears contain enzymes, right? So when a foreign body enters the eyeball, those tears will fight it, right? But then depending on the concentration of those enzymes, they do eat away parts of the sclera, which leads to opacity of the lens. Roman numeral number 4, inability to see near objects clearly. When you can't see near objects clearly, you are hyperopic or hypermetropic. So it's hypermetropia or hyperopia or long-sightedness or far-sightedness. Roman numeral number 5, reddening and inflammation of the conjunctiva. That is called conjunctivitis. Or pink eye. Number 5 states, give the 2 types of photoreceptors. Please note that you have rods and cones. I forgot which ones are for color and which ones are for light, but the 2 photoreceptors are rods and cones. I'll do that in the next lesson. Okay. Now I know it's redundant that I didn't give you information on the functions of the different parts of the eye, but I'll do that in the second segment where I will be providing clear images. Okay. If you found this video helpful in any way, please click the like button and subscribe for more content. Thank you very much, and I hope to see you again.